Hello, and welcome to our weekly show, Your Finest Life Now with Dr. G-Rex Kruhly. This is a show brought to you by Go Global Business School, and we're coming to you live on Facebook. Good morning, Dr. G. How are you today?
I'm great, Owen. How are you?
Yeah, all excited. And one of the reasons I'm excited and all pumped up was the session we had last Sunday, the group healing session. And I felt that there's so much things to actually find out, to know more, to get excited about. And I'm hoping to use today's time to follow up on that session itself.
Okay, yeah. Good
And
idea.
one of the things that really brought to mind was at the end of the session, we were actually exploring this idea of why we needed to sit still. You know, why we had to just not move around, just be present and just sit still. And I would love to hear a little bit more from you why that is so important, why that's fundamental.
Okay, so we'll take it on two levels. One,
Sure.
the fundamental necessity of stillness, and then number two, how that relates to a morphic field clearing.
Great.
So first, for those of my viewers, I'm just assuming if you're here with me now, with us, you have an interest in personal evolution in your consciousness, you have some kind of a spiritual practice, or you want to find out what that is, etc., etc. So I call my work depth healing because everything I do in my life, in my work, everything I do, my understanding is all dedicated to depth, not superficial. Okay. Now, stillness is the absolute requisite of all spiritual traditions across the globe. Since the beginning of time to the end of time, all of the traditions, when you look at them, they will all have absolute stillness, seated stillness. Comfort, I used to say to my young students when I was teaching professional Heiho and Budo, comfort is not part of the pathway. That is if you think that, that's your biggest mistake. That will guarantee that you never go deep if you are looking for comfort. Okay. So stillness, the easiest way to understand stillness is by analogy. All right. So I want you to just think of a absolutely still pond of water. And not even a pond. We can take a body of water. It can be the size of the Pacific Ocean, but it has to be absolutely still.
Right.
So when it's still, it has a surface tension. It's like a piece of glass.
Right.
When it's in that state, with the proper instruments, if even a mosquito or a gnat lands on that surface, the ripple effect, the vibration, will show up. Now, the pond is your consciousness. And I want to always differentiate consciousness and mind. The common usage of mind, which has been used for so long, I don't use. Mind is something else. Mind is a cloud. Got nothing to do with it. It's separate. Right. So your consciousness is that surface tension of the water. The mosquito landing on it, or let's say you take a rock and you throw the rock in, whatever the level of the disturbance on the surface is the disturbance in you. It can be a fear. It can be clogged up energy. So the clogged up energy can be a fear, or let's say the clogged up energies in your liver from anger. And it might have been there for 25 years. You don't know it. When you're sitting absolutely still, you'll find it. The longer you practice and the deeper your practice, the more subtle you will notice things. initially you'll just notice the big rocks, and you'll
Right.
think, oh my God, I have so much pain in my low back, or oh, my neck feels so tight, or oh, my right shoulder. Okay, that's all symbolic. The body talks to us
Right.
in language, right? Language. So a simple example, right shoulder, right side is future, left side is the past.
Mm.
Right shoulder, responsibility. Some kind of stress, worry, fear, something about future responsibility. And when you sit absolutely still, you find it. When you're moving around, you
Mm.
don't find it. So many people, when they go to the doctor, I'm a doctor, I'm a licensed doctor. They go to the doctor and they'll say, I don't feel my shoulders and neck, I don't feel pain during the day. It's just when I
Mm.
lay down at night. Why?
Yeah.
Because when they lay down at night, then the busyness goes
Yes.
away,
Yes.
and now they become aware. So the stillness is the fundamental necessity for cultivating
Mm.
awareness.
Mm. Mm.
So
So
that's
so can I say that the stillness is a physical manifestation of our consciousness?
everything. If you look at the sun, it's a manifestation of your consciousness.
Right.
So think of everything is only a manifestation of your consciousness. So heaven and hell is a manifestation of your consciousness. So
Right.
think of the body. The body, the only thing the body is, it's an avatar which is used to amplify and direct consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a feed forward, feed backward system, and that is what your body is.
Right.
If you use your body in certain ways, you will get certain results, or you will get certain kinds of character development. For instance, let us take the character development of a submission fighter, like an MMA fighter,
Mm.
and let's compare that to the character development of a classical ballerina
Mm.
or a male ballerina. Let's say, if you want to take gender, the male submission fighter who's practicing anger, hatred, he
Mm.
takes his knee and crushes a man's skull, and he's using his body in that way. And then all you have to do is look at the facial expressions, right? And then you look at the classical, like, what was his name? The great Russian ballet. You'll find massively different behavior, consciousness, everything is complete. So
Right.
how you use your body is a way of accessing and also conditioning consciousness. When you have
Mm.
a spiritual practice, the key, and the key to all of life, especially if you're in business, is consciousness, right?
Yeah.
So the stillness is your primary tool.
Mm.
Without it, you will not see. You
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely you won't find it.
Right. So in understanding this need for me to be still for my personal development, how does that actually lend itself to your work of morphic field healing?
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So remember, when I do a morphic field clearing. So if you're new to me, a morphic field clearing means I'm going to clear a collective of people, and I
Mm.
can clear thousands at one time. It doesn't make any difference to me. So why would stillness be important? Well, first of all, when I connect everybody at the heart level,
Mm.
in order to do that, they've got to be present and they've got to be absolutely still. And I
Mm.
do mean absolutely still, not just your torso, no hand movement, no nothing. You you make you make an agreement, like Dispenza will say, you make an agreement with yourself for this session, I'm not moving, period, end of story. That alone, that decision alone generates power.
Mm. Yeah.
That's one of the secrets. to all great martial people. All great martial people. That is we call that in Japanese fudoshi. It's essential. So it makes a certain kind of power. But what it also does is it means that you're really focusing in your heart. And as you focus in your heart and you're all together, you are generating the morphic field that I work on. If you're moving in that and you're not generating, you're like the weak link in the chain.
Right.
Okay. So you've heard the expression in say sports or military, the team is only as strong as its weakest link.
Yes.
So the beauty of my work is I use the heart math, the fundamental heart math model that was developed by Dr. Sarah Childrey about 30 years ago, where we're focusing in our heart on the feeling of love. Consciousness meditation is extremely difficult. Owen knows because he's a consciousness meditation gentleman. People can practice consciousness meditation for 60 years and go nowhere. It depends on so many things because they're dealing with the mind. With this meditation, it's a energy model. And the energy model means it's feeling. A feeling is the frequency. In order to generate it, you got to be still and you got to be present. Then the emergent property, which is the field I work in, is created. And the field which is created relative to the goal, the common goal, in my case, we're working with business professionals who want abundance. They want to increase their bottom line. They want productivity. They want creativity. So that's the common goal. So they are unified, and all the information contained in the subconscious mind and the field of Mr. A, B, C, and Mrs. G, B, whatever, all of that information relative to the common goal is in the cloud.
Right.
And then I work in the cloud. If you're fidgeting in that, no cigar. You'll come up with nothing. The rest of them that are strong, they will benefit more directly. But if you're fidgeting, the only person that loses is yourself. Everything in life is like that. We used to say, one of my combat masters used to tell me, if it is to be, it's up to me. So you gotta go in. If your body starts hurting you, if you feel you just can't stand sitting still, that's you. You're just looking at yourself. So what do? You just become aware of it. That's all. And you keep focusing in your heart. The heart meditation, besides the morphic field generation, the research is very clear. That energy of love will start to dissipate and melt to a large degree what is causing the pain.
Right. I remember you were telling us to just do the exercise 5-10 minutes a day, bring the focus back to the heart, bring that loving feeling back to the heart. Now, other than that, let's say now we're preparing for future sessions where we're going to sit still with you. Would you have any other tips for us to prepare so that we can reduce over time that sensation of pain or uneasiness of sitting still?
Sure.
What can we do?
It's all practice makes perfect. So every day, try to assign to yourself a still practice. Like it can be 5 minutes. When I say 5 minutes, the reason for the 5 minutes with the heart coherence meditation, that is the fundamental baseline that will establish coherence. Okay. And I'll explain what coherence is. It's an extremely powerful state. But try to set yourself, say, 10, 15 minutes and just sit absolutely still. And when I say still, either close your eyes or the classic, because generally when you want to go into the subconscious world, the eye quadrant is down.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like if you see pictures of the Buddha, you'll never see him going like that.
Yeah.
Their eyes
Guys,
are
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Okay? And you can, if you like the Tibetan
Mm.
Buddhist way, is slightly open, just slightly, but blurred.
Looking down.
And then in oneness, my way with Bhagavad Dharma, eyes are closed.
Hmm.
But the trick is sit still, don't move.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful.
Allow yourself, and then and whatever you experience, recognize that's you. It's
Mm.
in you. It isn't that you're. If a human being's field, if our
Hmm.
field
Hmm.
is absolutely clear. Now, Dispenza started talking. He likes talking now about 0 point energy. So if you are actually in a state of 0 point energy, there will be no body pain.
Mm.
There will be no disease. There will be nothing, because it cannot coexist at that level.
Right.
You understand what I mean? So when you
Absolutely.
feel things, this is where you need work. You need me. I can clear the source of the pain out of you.
Mm.
It's in your field, and that's what depth healing does. I remove that.
Mm. Mm. In my sharing about meditation, a lot of people come up and says, look, I can't sit still. I have to be doing something. I have to always be productive and doing. And this is something that I often tell friends or people who say that to me. I said, that's perfect. You just got to keep doing things. Now do sitting. You're
That's
actually
right.
doing something,
That's
but you're
right.
doing sitting.
That's right.
So just do sitting for 10 minutes and let's see where that goes from there. Yes.
That's why all of the great masters of Zen,
Mm.
from Dogen to today, they
Mm.
always say Zazen, do
Yes.
Zazen. And their goal, they want shikantaza. And the reason they want shikantaza means that it's absolute stillness in the present moment.
Mm.
Just like we say, like there's a term, a bullfrog Zen. So one of these days, if you get a chance, look at a frog, okay? When you look at the frog, his
Mm.
eyes will be open and he'll sit there for 10 hours. Then
Yeah.
if a fly goes by, it's gone.
Yeah.
He's not bored. What is bored? Bored, if you look it up in terms of functional, the hell they call that? Operational definition, means lack of attention.
Mm.
They asked the great Zen master, a great sword master, one of the greatest that ever lived, Yamokateshu. He used to guard the shogun, and he would be in seiza all night long,
Wow.
sitting fully awake. And one of the big samurai asked him, they said, because it's the palace, nothing's there. It's absolutely still, and there's no cell phones to it. And the samurai said to him, "Don't you get bored?" And Yamokateshu looked at him and said, "What is bored?" No idea. Me too. Almost, I can say almost completely. I'm never bored. Almost completely. Maybe once or twice in a year, I might have an hour or something where something I actually lose, but that it just goes away. Bored is a very low level of consciousness.
Mm. Mm. Nice.
So the frog, he's in the present moment and
Right.
he's being. This is what Eckhart Tolle, when you look at
Mm.
Eckhart Tolle is not doing, he's being,
It's
because
being.
he's enlightened. For us, we have to be doing. So what is necessary in the doing is stillness. Stillness inside the movement. And how
Mm.
do you get that? Sitting practice. If you can't do it sitting, you're sure as hell never going to do it moving. Never.
Yeah.
If you
And
do, come on down and see me. I'll buy you a beer.
it's all this discussion, this reminders today it's coming to me at a personal development level. It helps me to be a better person. What's interesting is that the focus on Sunday and where we are today is about business. So why is stillness a major component, a really fundamental component on business success or business amazement?
Okay, so I want you to imagine something, all right?
Right.
Since I have a military martial background, well, I'll use this as a basic example.
Right.
Let's say you're a commander and you are in it's a war, and you're out in the field, and there's all kinds of chaos, and bombs are going off, and there's smoke and dust, and guys are getting blown to hell, and everything's happening, right? And do you think that that person, in order for him to save lives and make proper decisions so that he knows what he's doing, you think he needs inner stillness?
Yeah, for sure.
Or he's like that, right? So, but you see, it's really true. It's absolutely essential. If he can't come inside and go into stillness so that he can process, because you see, the human brain, folks, can only process 7 files at one time. By the 7th file, it's locked, completely locked. I'll give you an example of what I mean. This is where the stillness comes in. Smart lawyers do it all the time. They get a guy on the stand and they ask him a question. Before the guy on the stand can finish with closure the thought, the lawyer interrupts him and asks him another question. So he has to answer because it's the law, right? So the guy starts the second question, but the first question was never fully answered. So the brain is still working on that.
Right.
That's called an open file. He opens the second file, then he opens the third one. By the 7th one, 7 questions in a row, that person will not be able to decide. He'll completely go into gridlock, and then he looks like a moron. And then he loses credibility, and they win the case. You can make a person so much gridlock that he cannot decide whether to lift up a pencil or put a pencil down. The human brain is made for one thing at a time, one by one. That is how you're made. Multitasking is a big mistake, and it actually can create neurologic damage if you keep doing it all the time. So stillness means in business, you got so many agendas, and you got your big to-do list. So you need to be able to look at this task or this person or this issue, and you are completely there. Everything else is gone. It's in the background. Then you shift. It's the new foreground. The other goes in the background. If you're not able to do that, you just go to stress, and you'll see these guys when they sit down. One of the telling ways to know they got all kinds of files going on, their body is in hypervigilance. When they sit down at the table or at their desk, you'll see one of their knees bouncing.
Yeah.
Nervous agitation. Like Eckhart Tolle said one time, we all think that's normal. Oh, hell no. Have you ever seen a dog or a bird or any other animal? No, it's not. That's hypervigilance in their nervous system, because their brain never it's not closure. It's not good. You got to have the stillness inside to make proper decisions, to be able to flow with the present moment. The stillness is in the present moment. The agenda is in the future. You see, that's why I wrote my book called Want More. I originally wrote it, it's a Zen treatise, actually, through the body for Silicon Valley execs, because their stress level is so high. If you don't have stillness, you miss your life. You don't ever experience your life at all. you be drinking this thing, and this it goes for me too. Drink this thing and thinking about what you're going to do this afternoon, and you never taste this. It's just robotic life. So that's why that's when
That's
you see
amazing.
a real high level business person that's a real master like Gene Hinman, my buddy Gene Hinman. Those guys, they absolutely have still.
Yeah.
And that's why they're great. They make brilliant business people.
Yeah.
Did I
It's
answer that question?
Oh yes, that gives so much relevance to it because we always practice about. There's so many angles to this. We practice about leadership, and the leadership role. You need to be highly focused. You need to be present, and you need to be clear so that you can lead your troops. So your troops are your staff and all, and that explains the stillness for the leaders, as well
Yeah,
as for a very pressing issue that is in the workplace now, which is mental health. People are getting stressed out, they're getting worked out, they're fully fidgeting. And this helps to bring it down so that the quality of productivity actually rises way higher than they possibly could multitasking.
that's why, folks. If any of you out there watching this, if you're in corporate life or whatever, get a hold of me. That's what this is all about. Because I can, if you think Vipassana meditation takes stress down, you watch what happens when I come in and take the cognitive dissonance and the worry and fear right out of their subconscious mind in a session. And then
Right.
you just watch and see the shift in the entire corporate culture.
I know that
It's fast.
I know that we're going to be running a little bit long today, but I just cannot let this go without asking and reminding you about this. About 10 minutes back, you said you're going to talk to us about dissonance and coherence. Can you just give us your message about that in a short one?
Okay, so real simple. Take a 40-watt light bulb.
Right.
40-watt light bulb. 40-watt light bulb is not very bright because the photons of light that are being emitted from the 40-watt light bulb are very dispersed. Okay, they're all over the place. You take the same 40-watt light bulb and you put the photon emission into a single beam, and it's 10,000 times, it will be 10,000 times stronger than the surface of the sun from a 40-watt light bulb. If you make the stream concentrated enough, that's called coherence. So with heart math, what they found, and that's why every scientist, everybody, everywhere, they're all with heart math, is in 5 minutes, your heart, which has its own brain, your heart rate variability rhythm, which is the measure of your health, it's going to entrain exactly to the brain and the cranium, so they become synced. Sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous systems are going to entrain. Normally, you're either in one or the other. Then your cortisol level, the stress hormones, are going to drop 45%. DHEA will rise 45%. Secretory IgA in your mouth, which is your the first line of defense of your immune system, goes up as high as 294%. Now, the big kicker is once you establish the coherence, it lasts 4 to 6 hours. 4 to 6 hours. And because the frequency you focus on is love, all 100 trillion cells that make you get on the same page. So they all, that vibration encompasses your entire being. Your heart field, the electromagnetic field, which is your actual heart, which is about 4 to 6 feet around, it expands way, way, way out. Whoever heart is the most coherent rules. It dominates the surround. Okay, whoever has the highest coherence dominate. So if you have a leader that's one of these morons, he's got all kinds of data and he knows all kind, and as a man or as a lady, they're an idiot. They've got no presence. They've got no self-control. They've got nothing. They just have their mouth. We used to say from their ear and it comes out their mouth. The direct, it's just a direct trail. Nothing. They can't lead, and everyone will hate them or rebel against them, or they won't follow them. But when you see a person with coherence, that gives you presence, because literally you're massive now. They have people, they've measured people with a heart field 40 feet in diameter, 60 feet up, 60 feet down. That's how big a human heart's field can be. You know how much power that is? That's
and
power.
all that just from 5 minutes of doing the half mat coherence exercise.
The guy with the 40-foot thing, he probably been doing that a long time, and he probably doesn't do 5 minutes. But the point is, with 5 minutes is the baseline to get 4 to 6 hours of established coherence. Coherence that is measured. It shows in your pH, it shows in your brain activity, electroencephalograms, and everything. That it is a fact, and it does not take high practice.
Yeah,
you just have to
that's
sit
easy.
still and do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that note, Dr. G. I'm just going to give a shout out to everyone for tuning in today, whether you are here with us live or you're listening to us after the transmission. And you can follow us every week on Facebook Live. You can also get connected with Dr. G's Depth Healing Group. And I'm going to be there next month. So that's on Telegram. You can get in touch with Dr. G on Instagram itself. And do join us, GoGLOBAL Business Club on Clubhouse. You know, we spend a whole hour on that every Thursday, Dr. G and myself. And every session has been amazing because there's a lot of interaction. Questions can be taken on the spot, answered live, and it just builds. Very soon, it's going to have to be a 24-hour broadcast on that because the question just keeps coming. So we're excited for you to join us there.
Remember, the third week of the morphic field clearings we do are the third Sunday of every month.
That's right. And we'll be announcing the whatever the topic for that clearing will be soon. Yeah. So join us and follow us on all this. You can follow all the data that's already been shown on screen. And do come and join the Go Global Business Club on Clubhouse, where we are online every day with amazing, interesting things to learn. So thank you very much, Dr. G, for today.
That's my pleasure.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too. God bless all of you. Take care.
Thank you.